Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. We are so excited to have you here, and we're very excited to talk about how you can engage and retain new followers post-campaign, because it's that time of the year where I feel like all of the campaigns are starting. There's like Black Friday, Thanksgiving, the holidays, everything's about to start. So after that campaign is done, you got to know how to engage those new followers. So I'm excited to go over this today. And as you can see, I'm joined by Lyle. Whenever Lyle's on a webinar, everyone loves it. So love to have you here. And then we have Jessica in the chat as well. So the whole pod is here.
Yay. So for Jessie, she's in a meeting and we miss her.
Jessie's missing this one today, but that is okay. We will give her the recording.
All good. You know, I didn't even think about how timely this webinar is with the holidays and stuff coming up. I was just like, oh yeah, everyone's running campaigns, but you're really thinking.
Yes. It's perfect timing. And let me know in the chat. I love how people are saying where they're from already. I love that you already know I'm going to ask to let us know where you're joining from, and let us know, are you running campaigns sometime soon? Maybe it's a Black Friday campaign. Maybe it's just something for the holidays. Let me know if you're planning one and how the planning is going. So let me know in the chat.
Also, when you post where you're from, what's your weather like? Because I'm in Halifax and it is so windy. I feel like my windows are going to explode.
It is really windy here as well. I'm just outside of Toronto and it is so windy around here right now and cold. I just actually brought out my winter jacket because it's like time for me to wear it. So yes, it is cold. And also, I don't know if anyone's in the Toronto area, but it's like the whole surrounding area of Toronto is getting ready for Taylor Swift coming, because she's coming this weekend and next weekend. There's stuff everywhere, and I'm not even in downtown Toronto, and there's like Eras tour stuff everywhere. So I guess that's fun. I wish I was in Toronto. So do I. I wish I was going, but I am not. Okay, so we see it's cold. Summer all the time in South Florida. Love that. Love that. Caleb says we are doing a huge holiday campaign that rolls out on Black Friday with an array of events and markets. Nice. That's awesome. Perfect. Okay. Continue letting us know where you're joining from, what campaigns you're running, and we will get right into it. So if you came across this webinar somewhere online and you signed up and you're not quite sure who we even are, we are HeyOrca. So we're a social media scheduler for teams and agencies, and we are here to assist you with all of your social media scheduling. And one of the best parts is that with HeyOrca, you can actually have unlimited users. So you can have your whole team on there and there's no extra charges. We love that. So that is who we are, if you are wondering. And we'll do a quick round of intros as well. So my name is Alyssa, and I'm a community manager here at HeyOrca. So I work on our webinars, our newsletter, our Facebook group, all that kind of stuff. And I will pass it over to Lyle.
Hello, I'm Lyle. I am the copywriter at HeyOrca. So if you read something from HeyOrca and you really like it, it was probably me. And if you didn't like it, don't tell me. But it was probably me. And I'm really excited to be here. We have some tips today that are, I think, really simple. Like sometimes I think like, oh, is it too simple? But no, it's simple enough that you can like action on it right away. So we're excited to share.
Love it. So glad to have you on the webinar with us. Because like I said, whenever Lyle's on a webinar, it's very highly rated. So we're very excited to have her here.
You're so nice. I love being here with you.
And if this is your first one with us, we do giveaways as well. So you have 2 different ways to win a $25 Amazon gift card. So the very first way to win is we actually have a poll question going on our LinkedIn at the moment. And the question is, do you currently have an after campaign content strategy? So head over to our LinkedIn page, vote on that poll, and then tomorrow at noon, I will be randomly selecting someone who has voted, and you will win a $25 Amazon gift card. And Jessica just put the link in the chat for that poll as well, so you can go check it out. And the second way to win is you can actually share your thoughts on what you learned in the webinar today on LinkedIn and tag HeyOrca. So for this one, you actually have a little bit longer. So you have until Tuesday at noon for this one, because I know for myself, it takes me forever to write one LinkedIn post. So you have until Tuesday at noon to share your thoughts on what you've learned in this webinar, and I will be randomly selecting someone as our winner on Tuesday. And I do want to shout out last week's winner. She shared with us all the updates that she learned in our social news webinar last week. So congratulations to her, and maybe one of you will be up on the screen here next week. All right, so we have lots of amazing things to go over today. So we're going to go over a few different things. So we're going to go over why you are suddenly getting a spike in followers, and how you can turn those new followers into advocates for your brand. And then we have a bunch of content ideas that you can use to entertain those new followers. So we will dive right in, and I will pass it to Lyle.
Okay, awesome. Before we get into the tips, I'm just going to set the scene, and hopefully it'll be short and sweet. But we actually got a question in the chat that's probably relevant. And Catherine's asking, what's the best way to retain followers after you do a giveaway? And I would say stay tuned, because all of our tips are applicable for after a giveaway. So let me just go here. So all of our tips should apply really regardless of how you obtained this sudden spike in followers. So if you ran a successful giveaway, you're in the right place. If one of your posts just sort of randomly took off and you got some viral attention on it, doesn't even have to be viral, because obviously that's not the goal necessarily, but if you got a lot of good engagement on it, you're in the right place. And then maybe if you partnered with a content creator to reach their community and they're new to your brand, hopefully these tips help you as well. So I'm going to go over, I don't know what to call this, a simple customer journey. We've probably all seen this before. I was calling it a map. I don't think it's a map. I know that there's a word for it that I have forgotten. But anyway, so what we're looking at here is, first, someone's a non-follower. They have no clue who you are. You run a contest, or you have UGC that takes off, or whatever you do to gain followers. Suddenly you have a bunch of new community members. You want to turn those new community members ideally into customers. And then after they are customers and they love your brand so much, they become advocates. So today what we're focusing on is mostly that second little pillar, little dot there, the new community members. What are some simple things that you can do to engage them and retain them, to bring them along that journey to becoming advocates? So how can you nurture them? So we're going to start off with some content ideas. Alyssa's going to take us through those, and then we'll get into some other little tips and tricks.
Love it. Okay, so like Lyle said earlier, we're going to set the scene. You just ran a campaign or maybe a giveaway, anything like that, and you saw an influx of followers. So now you have a bunch of new community members that are new to your page. And so what kind of content do you want to make to keep those people following? So first, this is probably my favorite one, because I don't see a ton of brands doing this. And I think it's a really good idea. So you should have an intro video on your social, and you can pin it actually to the top of your page. So you could do this on Instagram or TikTok, and it's just giving everybody a look at who you are, a little bit about your brand, because just in case, if a new follower comes in and is scrolling your page, but maybe you didn't really have an intro post about your brand for months and months and months, they might just fall off because they might not exactly know what your brand is all about. So having that simple intro video pinned to the very top of your profile is a really good idea. And we actually have an example of one. So this is from a small business in Halifax called Spuds, and they actually have this video pinned to the very top of their Instagram page so that all their new followers can know exactly what they do. So I'm gonna grab the video here. There we go. And we will watch.
What's shaking, people? Today I'm going to show you what an average day in the life of a cleaning business owner looks like. We have 2 new customers today, which means that I joined my cleaning team to do a round of introductions and tour of each home. But our first customer today was already at work when we arrived, so he gave us his garage code instead. We let ourselves in, did a quick tour, all looked good, and then I realized I left our window squeegee at home, so he was off to my second home to pick up a new one. Then it was back to the house, return the squeegee, and film some content before heading to Starbucks to get some work done. When I'm not hopping around from house to house doing intros and tours and delivering supplies to my team, I'm usually either working on finding new customers or talking with prospective customers. So I replied to a few texts, sent off a few quotes, and then it was back to the house to do a quality check. We had a break in between customers, so I went back home, restocked our supplies, and then hit the road to do it all over again. And if there is such thing as an average day in the life of a cleaning business owner, that was one.
I was muted. We love that one. And I'm realizing I think I said Spuds and not Suds. It's definitely called
Suds.
But yeah, we love that one because I love that it's a small business, first of all. And I like that he just takes you through your day. I like to see the behind the scenes. Like, I think we're all nosy on like what everyone's days looks like. So seeing a typical day of the business is really great. You're also getting to know the business owner. And so you're feeling that attachment to them. And, after seeing this, maybe that would inspire you to be like, you know what, I actually think I might book them for, a service. So yeah, I loved this video, and I just love behind the scenes content.
Agreed. And also, if anyone, we're always looking for like small business, good post examples and stuff. So if you have some for your brands or like the brands that you manage that you want us to feature, please send them to us. We would love to see them and feature them in blog posts and on webinars and stuff. So you can send them to Alyssa at HeyOrca.com.
Yes. Definitely send them over. We love showing examples of people in our community. And if you have an intro video on your profile right now, send it in the chat and we will definitely take a look. So yeah, that one was awesome. There's also another one here. I won't play it just because it's a longer one, but you probably know Pretty Little Marketer, who is quite big on LinkedIn. She does an intro one as well on her Instagram, and it's a little get ready with me. And so super, super easy to film, and just a really good way to get your audience to know you personally and know your brand a little bit better. And if you're not really a video person, say, you don't really want to film a whole day in your life or an intro, that is okay. You can also do a carousel post. So this is another example of one that was pinned. It's a carousel post just taking you through the brand. So you can also do that as well. It doesn't always have to be a video. And carousel posts also are a really great way to get a decent amount of reach just because it pops up in your feed multiple times. So it gives people a few different tries to get their attention. So if you don't want to film a video, don't worry. You can always just do a carousel post. And I see, oh, perfect. I am going to watch your intro post after this.
Me too. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, thank you. All right. So the next one we're going to go over is non-boring educational content. I'm just going to do the question here. Would you recommend having more of a POV or a voiceover for the intro video? It's up to you. Like, whatever you feel like is best. I think really any format that works for you and your brand, go for it. It could be really anything.
I agree. I feel like if you're debating between the two, I would do both if you can, and then let your community decide. So if one gets really good engagement, that'll be the one that you pin to your page.
Ooh, I like that advice. If you did like a couple different ones and whatever one performs the best, you pin that one. Love that. Awesome. But yes, next we're going to talk about non-boring educational content. Because when we think of educational content, you might just be like, oh, I don't want to read this. I don't want to learn this right now. But educational content is great for those new followers because they may not know much about your brand or your industry. So doing those kinds of posts can be really beneficial. And educational posts can also get a lot of saves, which is awesome. So a lot of people will either send it to their friends or save it so they can look at it later. But a little bonus tip here when it comes to educational content is instead of making it, educational about your brand, make it educational about the industry that you're in. So, for example, and I'll show one from us, we're in the social media industry. So sometimes we like to post social media updates and things like that. So people are still finding value in our content without it being so super HeyOrca focused. So I will show you some examples here. So for us, we do post social media news. So this is an example of, I think this was last week, we posted the LinkedIn update about how LinkedIn is retiring celebration post templates. So I love this on our profile because anyone can follow us and get value from it. They don't necessarily need to be HeyOrca's #1 fan, but we are still giving them that content and they're learning from us. So that can really help community members stick around. And the other one, we actually, this was one of our webinars, I think 2 weeks ago. It was how to identify a social media crisis, which is something I hope no one has to go through. But if you have to go through it, we do have a blog post on it and we did make a social post for it. So it's more so based on what's happening in the industry and not so much on HeyOrca. Of course, we do have HeyOrca focused posts on our Instagram and TikTok, but it's nice to have a nice balance of industry specific and then also product specific. So that is something you can give a try. And then this is just an example of another account. I don't know if people follow Aura Ring, but I really like their content because, their industry is wellness and they do a lot of posts that are specifically on their ring, but then they also do a ton just about wellness. So they had this carousel post taking you through how sleep can have an impact on your sickness. And it was this whole educational post, but it was super interesting because it was very easy to digest. And it was also something I was like, oh, how does my sleep, how impact my sickness? So I like how they make their educational posts still, industry specific, but it actually does kind of relate back to them. So they have really good educational content.
Yeah, I think that's a good one because that's like accessible for anyone, even if they don't own that product.
Exactly. Yes. I think that's always a good way to get people to stick around is just give them value. Let them learn something from you. I'm sure this post from Aura Ring got a ton of sends. I'm sure people saw this and sent it to their friend and was like, look at this information. So it's nice to have a nice balance.
Yes, that is something my mom would send to me 100%.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's probably all the sends. We're just like mom sending it.
Yeah.
You need to pay attention to this.
Yes.
All right. And the next one, this one is very easy to do and probably one of my favorite ones, but you want to do some activation content. So this could mean Instagram stories, and there's a little screenshot here. As you all know, in Instagram stories, there are so many options to get people participating in your story. So you can do polls, little quizzes, you can get them voting on things. It's a really fun way to get people engaged in your profile. And the more you're engaging them within your Instagram story, the more your story will pop up closer to the top of their feed. So that means they're going to look at your content a lot more. So I find in Instagram stories, it's a really easy way, like say every Monday and Wednesday you did, at 11 a.m. you do a poll on something, and it's something people can expect and they can very easily engage with it. I think that's the great thing about polls, is that it doesn't take too much thought. You just kind of vote and you're good. So it's a really good way to get people engaged. And then we also, as you saw earlier in our webinar, we like to do polls on our LinkedIn. So this is a screenshot from one we did recently. And again, it's a really easy way to get people involved, and then they can also expect it coming, and they'll just keep participating. So I love a good poll. I love a good story activation. But let me know in the chat, do you use your Instagram stories a lot in this sense? Like, do you do a lot of polls or quizzes or anything like that? Let me know. I think they took out the quiz option. Did they really? Let me see here. I guess I don't see it on the screenshot. So that makes sense.
Womp womp. I can't believe I just said that out loud. May has a question. I think it relates back to the introductory video. They're asking, what about boring computer work? I think Jessica, who's in the chat, will have better ideas than me because she's a TikTok video icon. But the first thing that came to mind for me was maybe you do a get ready with me for the day, and you sort of talk about what you do. Or I've seen people do what is it? Not like ASMR, but kind of where they set up their workspace, even if they just computer and they do the little coffee with the clink, 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 that kind of stuff is fun. But I think Jessica would probably have better ideas.
I love that idea. Yeah, just like a day in the life of someone who's in your role would be very cool. And I think even in boring industries, people are still wanting to know what do you do? What does your day look like? Those are my favorite videos on TikTok, are people, just regular people showing you what their work days are like. It's just so entertaining.
Yeah, and I guess too, it depends on what industry you're in. One of the examples we had in the blog that's related to this webinar, Jessica can put the link in the chat, but one of them is okay, what if you are running socials for an interior designer? Something I love is interior designers do this a lot, is what trends should you keep and what trends should you not adopt? That kind of stuff, or just general tips, home tips that people can use even if they don't necessarily choose you as their designer.
I love that. Julia says, get ready with me with timestamps can be a good idea. Yes, I love when there's timestamps in those. It's always fun. Tended to be 0 responses. This may change with higher followers and depending on the platform. Yes, I find when you start doing more polls and stuff, it kind of grows in popularity. So at first, when you start doing them, you might notice one person is voting on this poll, but don't let that discourage you. Just keep consistent with it. And then the more you're consistent with it, the more people that will start, participating in those polls. So definitely you just have to keep going with it.
Agreed. And also it depends on your brand, but sometimes you can get better responses if you have a really funny answer in there as one of the options, just to throw people off. And then they know that oh, you're a human and you're kind of funny. So that works sometimes too.
Totally. All right. And another way you can activate your audience is a giveaway of some sort. So you just did this campaign, you brought in a bunch of new followers, and now we want to keep them there and keep them engaged. So you could do a giveaway. And this is just an example of one that we had here. It was for acts of kindness. We actually gave a HeyOrca account to a nonprofit that was nominated in our comments. But it's a really great way to get your community involved. And it doesn't necessarily need to be oh, you can win this gift card, comment on our post. You could do something similar to this where maybe they get, a basket of your product, or something related back to your brand. But doing a giveaway is just a good way to get people still engaged in your content. And you can even make it so maybe they need to chat about your product in the comments to, qualify for the giveaway. Anything like that is good. And then you could also even do little challenges as well with your community. And you could also offer a discount code, like depending on what your brand is. But if you have an actual product that they can buy, you could also offer them a discount code, because who doesn't love a discount code?
Yes, I love a discount code, especially if
My
you
favorite.
if you just run a contest. I guess this applies to the earlier question. Like if you just finish up a contest and people are tempted maybe to unfollow you because they weren't the winner, if you can offer all your Instagram followers or TikTok followers, whatever it is, a discount code, it'll give them a reason to stay around.
Yes.
So I'm obsessed.
I love that. Whenever I think of discount codes, I don't know if anyone else is on this side of TikTok, but I just keep getting Abercrombie discount codes on TikTok. People are just telling you them, and you can stack them. I don't know if anyone else has seen these videos. I'll send them to you the next time that I come across them, but it's like a hack. So I love on TikTok when people talk about discount codes.
You better send those to me. That's amazing.
I will. And I see we have a comment here. So let me see. How about tips for remote companies? I work for a large software company, and I'm finding it difficult to create videos with others. Don't think our audience cares about me, the content manager, and would rather see the face of someone else. Okay, yes. When it comes to remote companies, it can be challenging. HeyOrca is a remote company as well. So whenever we make videos, we're all in our own spaces when we're making them. I think there are ways you could try, and you need a few people to want to film them with you. But I find it helps to get people involved in a video when you give them a full script of what to say. They don't have to necessarily follow the script for the video, but just to give them a guideline, because I think sometimes when, we're like, come be in our TikTok, it can feel intimidating and people are like, what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I act? So if you would give them examples and a little bit of a script, that might make them feel a little bit more comfortable. And if they could, film it on their end, send it to you, and you can edit it or add your part in. It does add a little bit of, extra work when you're remote. But I think if you give your team, a little script or examples, that might help to get some people involved.
Agreed. And like if you can send them examples maybe so they get a clearer idea of what you want them to do. Another idea that Jessica had earlier this week was she wanted me to film a video, and she's in Calgary, I'm in Halifax. So she offered to like go on Zoom and sort of like be there so I could verbalize and actually talk to a real human. So I thought that was a really good idea. And we've also made videos before where like we're actually filming the Zoom screen with everyone. Jessica I don't know if she posted it yet, but she just did one like that. So yeah, I think there are like workarounds that you can do, but I agree it's a little challenging for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That is the issue. And if everyone's remote, it can be hard to get people to participate. So yes, I wish you luck, and I hope that people start participating more. And then just another example of activation content. So this is one we actually have going right now. So we are involving our community with a give back initiative. So we are giving back to a charity that helps with people who are affected by some of the hurricanes in Florida. So we're getting our community involved that way. So I think any way you can get your audience involved in what you're doing, it's a really great way to build trust with them and to get them to stick around. All right. And then also, it's great to also show your appreciation for your community members. So I think giving your community members maybe early access to something or giving out, little awards for participation is always really fun. So this example is actually from our Facebook group. We actually have this contest going right now, but we hit 10,000 members in our Facebook group. And so we wanted to show appreciation to some of our members in the group and how there's been a ton of people who have been giving such great advice to other members of the group. So we are spotlighting them with this little certificate and giving them an Amazon gift card. So another way of getting your community involved and just platforming them. So if someone, even if they left a really good comment on your Instagram, maybe it was really funny, you could screenshot it and then put it on your story and tag them and be like, we love this, or just something easy like that. People love to be recognized and spotlighted. So that's also another really great way to keep your community there and strong. All right, and I am going to pass it over to Lyle.
Woo! Before I dig into this slide, we did have a question around like the legalities of doing a giveaway. Do you have any examples of a good way to still give away freebies to community members without having a post that uses the language giveaway? I see you have a legal team. Oh, this one's a tricky one because I don't want to like give legal advice. I'm obviously not a lawyer. So I would consult with your legal team. But I feel like if you're talking about just like freebies for participation and stuff, you can say, I'm awarding, like maybe in your stories, you have a post that's like, I'm awarding at member for XYZ. Here's a $25 whatever, or here's like a special discount or whatever your award is. But I'd maybe use the word like awarding, or surprising this person with XYZ, delighting this person with XYZ. But if you're running like an actual like contest giveaway post, I would steer away from that and do it the nice legal way. Not that the other way is not legal. But yeah, I'd maybe use the word awarding. Okay, cool. I forgot I was doing this. Okay, so content ideas aside, another thing that you should do when you have an increase in follower count is to look at your bio, take another little look at it and make sure it's up to par. So the first thing that I would look at is your bio link, which you can set up in HeyOrca, shameless plug. Oh, sorry, I see this question. Wait, are giveaways not legal? No, sorry, I misspoke. I stepped all over my words there. Giveaways are legal as long as you're following, like Instagram has a link to what parameters you're supposed to use. Like you're supposed to have a little snippet that says something like, this is not affiliated with Instagram in any way, shape, or form kind of thing. And you're also supposed to have like a terms and conditions page. So sorry if I confused everyone there. And yes, obviously you want to follow the laws of your state or province or country, wherever you are. Okay, so bio, take a look at your link, make sure that it is functioning properly and linking to your most popular resources. So for us, that's going to be website, of course, our newsletter, our blog. If we have a special landing page for a new product launch, and also like social media channels, shameless plug to our Facebook group. If you're not in there yet, you should join. It's really fun and you might get an award. Okay, the other thing that you should take a look at is the actual like body copy of your bio, of course. I was looking at Netflix's bio the other day. They always are updating it and it's so funny. And I feel like it's such a good inside joke with their community. Like the other day when I looked at it, I don't know if it's still this, but it was just like a string of boxing glove emojis, because they're promoting that silly boxing film with Jake Paul. No, I will not be watching that, but I thought their bio was still really cool. However, Netflix is obviously like a globally recognized brand. So it's totally they can get away with whatever they want in their bio. They can make it more of like a branding play. But if your brand is not globally recognized, you'll probably want to flesh out your bio with as much like SEO oomph that you can. So some things to think about. You'll probably want a keyword-rich company like descriptor. What category are you in the title? And then you'll want to come up with like one sentence that sums up what you do. Pop it into your bio. A CTA, of course, with your link in bio. And also like if you have a branded hashtag that you use to like collect UGC, pop it in your bio. And if you have any like affiliated brands, you can mention them in your bio. But basically the idea is you want to pretend that you're a brand new community member. When you land on your Instagram page or TikTok page or whatever it is, can you get the necessary context? Can you immediately understand what you do as a brand?
I feel like when it comes to like a company's bio, I totally creep the bio. When I first follow a brand, I read the whole thing. I go to their link, what's going on in their link. I creep the whole thing.
Me too. Okay, so I'm glad I'm not the only one. Here you can just see a little snippet of what HeyOrca's link in bio looks like. So this is what we set up, like our most popular things, like I said, newsletter. We have a trending audio list that's updated every week, a bunch of free resources, and social media webinars, of course, which you know about because you're here, and we love you for that. Thank you for attending. Okay, the next thing is just post consistently. Maintain your regular posting schedule. I'm being so dramatic when I say this. I'm going to say like, there's nothing worse. There's obviously things that are worse than this, but there's nothing worse than like when you enter an Instagram contest or giveaway, or you follow a brand and then they don't post for like over a week. And the next time you see them in your feed, you're like, who the heck is this? Unfollow. We don't want that to happen. So just maintain your regular posting schedule. Be consistent with the cadence of your posts, but also be consistent with like the brand style of your posts and the messaging, your brand voice. Make sure that's consistent too, so that when your posts show up on someone's feed, they can almost instantly recognize that it's from your brand. So here's some examples. The one at the top is Dunkin' Donuts. They're a little chaotic. This is their TikTok page, but you can see like it's very clearly Dunkin' Donuts with the pink and the orange, a little bit of purple in there. And then the one below is GT's Synergy Kombucha. I stand kombucha. I'm obsessed. Let me know in the chat if you are also a kombucha girly. But I added this example to say like, they're always doing seasonal things. So when their photos show up, they have a very like distinct look. Right now it's like fall, obviously. So they have all those oranges. There's a lot of contrast in their images. So even when it is a different season, you can still recognize their posts. Oh yeah, we have kombucha lovers obsessed. And I also wanted to mention too, like obviously their feed is very aesthetically pleasing. We get this question a lot, especially in our Facebook group, like, do you have to have an aesthetically pleasing feed? And I think the answer is no. If you want to, you can absolutely do that, but you don't need to. The idea that we're trying to demonstrate here is just like, look how consistent their posts look. Oh my gosh, Jen used to brew kombucha. I tried to do that. And then I was like, this is amazing. But then I was too scared to drink it because I was like, I am going to give myself botulism. So enjoy that little tidbit.
It is scary.
It's so scary. It looked really good. And I did try some, but then I got too scared. Okay, anyway, sorry for that tangent, you guys. We also wanted everyone to remember that you will get unfollows. It's just, that's how it is. So something that you should do is set expectations with your stakeholders, with your clients, with your team leads, with your coworkers, with everyone, that when you get a big surge of followers, you're going to get some people, a good chunk of people, maybe even trickle off. And that's actually a good thing because you want to be talking to your ICP and your target audience. So if those people who aren't your target audience self-select and they're like, nah, this is not for me, that's good. And it's also good for your engagement rate. So we love that too.
Love that. Yes, that's a good thing to remember because sometimes you can be like, yes, after this giveaway or this campaign, we just got like 100 extra followers, but then, you know, a chunk of them fall off, that is okay. It's bound to happen. It will always happen. So do not worry ever. But we do have a question here from Kayla. I've seen discrepancy on whether to mention visit the link in our bio for more information in a social media caption. Thoughts on including this in the caption on social?
Ooh,
That's a good one.
I always include it personally. I think that it just makes it so much easier. Like if I read that and I'm mindlessly scrolling, I'm like, oh, I'm connecting the dots. So for HeyOrca, I always put it. But honestly, you could try both ways. You could try 2 similar pieces of content, try it with link in bio and without link in bio and see what performs best for you. But I don't think there's anything wrong with saying link in bio.
Yeah, I think that's okay too, because sometimes I don't think I would know enough to like go to their link. So sometimes I like that, you know, it just says it right there, like go to our link for more information, or else I probably wouldn't click the link. I don't think.
Yeah. Are people saying not to put link in bio promoting ManyChat? I do not know. I'm sorry, I really don't.
Are there any rules around including it similar to TikTok Linktree, how you can't say it in the video? So on TikTok, if you say like visit the link in our bio, TikTok doesn't like that when you say that.
Oh, interesting. I've only like written it in the caption. I haven't tested putting it like in the actual on-screen text in the voiceover or whatever. ManyChat are pushing a TikTok ad with that message. Interesting. Okay, you guys, we're gonna have to keep our eye on this.
All right. Okay, I need to look into this.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. All right. I think I grabbed all the questions. But that is everything. That is everything we have today. Thank you so much for joining us and chatting about this. And I hope if you have campaigns coming up or giveaways or anything like that, I hope they go really well. And then I hope you get so many new followers out of it. And then you can join us next week if you want. We are having a copywriting formulas webinar. Lyle will be hosting it. Very excited for it. The copywriting ones are my favorite. They're just so full of great information.
Yay. I think there's a different link for the resource, but that's fine. If you go to our blog, there is a related resource there that you can check out with more ideas and like in-depth explanations for post-campaign stuff.
Love it. And maybe we will see you next week.
Yay. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.